You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Innovation, networking, and exhibitions all in one space. It's another staging of CME's Corporate Mingle. And today we are here at Eden Gardens Wellness Resort and Spa. I'm your host, Amita Prasadwe. Please stay tuned for highlights.
Now, Eden Gardens basically was started way back in 2008. However, we had a relaunch in 2014. Now, in the relaunch of the 2014, this is the present state that it is in. Now, we have what you call, what are the product offering, or what do we offer to our guests? We offer a spa, a fully contemporary spa. So for those of you who don't know, we have a fully contemporary spa that not just the main, what you may call it, for example, massage and cosmetics and all of that. But a part of our spa has been licensed for therapeutics under the Cannabis Licensing Authority. And as such, we are one of those few persons, if any, that can practice massage therapy and all that kind of therapy, physiotherapy, utilizing the cannabis extract as it relates to persons who come in may have pains, challenges, muscle spasms, stuff like that. We actually have created products. We have 12 products from Medicanja, that is a subsidiary company, that is also used in this process. Now, in terms of restaurant, we have on location 2 of our own restaurant, which is the Tulips. Now, the Tulips is a casual dining, and basically you can come in here any hour of the day from 7 o'clock in the morning right through to 10 o'clock at night, and you can get any food in terms of your regular Jamaican fare or international fare. Then we have the Black Orchid, and the Black Orchid basically is the more, what you may call fine dining, where you can go, sit, and be pampered and treated like kings and queens. We also have a section for events. Accommodation is here. Of course, we have 22 rooms here, but we have also events. We are maybe the premier area for weddings. So those of us who are getting married or having an anniversary or want to have anything to do with a reception as it relates to weddings, we have it here. For those of us who are interested in any corporate events, as you see, the layout here is just one part of what we can do. You can actually walk upstairs. We have a roof setting that basically gives you the view of the entire New Kingston with the kind of beauty that we represent here as in the gardens. We also have a section where we call our suppliers, where we have a group of persons who are into wellness in one form or the other, have spaces here. So we have the Cushite, we have persons with hair, we have a physiotherapist, chiropractor, a nutritionist. They're all here. So what we are doing, we have created an arena, so to speak, of wellness in the tangible and intangible form. And at the back of the presence here, you will find EG Wellness brands. And primarily what EG Wellness brands do is to specifically research and create products that are geared again towards wellness. We have ATs, we have supplements, we have a supplement that is called Alpha Prostate, and that is for maintaining a healthy prostate. We have Women's Complete, which is a multivitamin for women, specifically for the Caribbean women, and we have Men's Complete, and again, that is specifically for the Caribbean man. And the Men's Complete is one of those products that we have what you call the horny goat weed that we do get great reviews on. So Eden Gardens is not just a hotel. It's not just an accommodation area. It is a composite of different, you may call it, product offering that suits individuals as related to health and wellness. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we're happy to have Corporate Mingle. A lot of the companies that we cater to for meetings and weddings are actually within the New Kingston area. So it's pretty much it's being able to showcase different sides to Eden Gardens, from corporate events, meetings, functions, seminars, and so forth. We do just as many corporate functions as we do weddings. So it's nice to have the corporate community to let them know that, we are here and we are actually expanding, in a development. We will be starting a new development in a matter of months to expand Eden Gardens Resort. So we're really looking to now be able to offer not only accommodations and wellness spa, that kind of thing. We're looking to beef up or capacity, to be able to host larger groups, possibly conferences and so forth.
Well, the expected turnout was definitely met. I think we had a large variation of persons, from different entities, and I think the networking was great. I think it was a good partnership of the different companies, and in all, we achieved our goal was to pretty much get persons together to network and to share the different services.
Corporate Mingle allows persons to come out and share ideas and share mistakes that they already made. So persons can see which path is easier to take or which path is better for them to take in the venture that they're in. So for example, as for fashion designers, there's a different path of fashion designers as it pertains to financial services. There's a different path for persons who are in food than it is for persons who are in cosmetics. So when you come to Corporate Mingle, you get to hear all the ideas that are out there. You get to go back, re-advise your whole business plan. You get to look back at what you have and see if it meets what the market needs. For the past 7 months, Creative Media and Events have been a part of a lot of expos. So we decided to design an expo for ourselves. So for us to do like a mini expo is for the persons who have businesses that aren't really out there, who don't have advertising space on television, who don't have advertising space on the radio, and they get a chance to come here, set up a whole exhibit and go directly to their consumers. They get a new advertising space, a new place for them to brand themselves and to meet their customers directly.
The CIBC First Caribbean award-winning security features enables customers using their mobile phone to view transactions as they occur, and they can also make credit card payments in real time. They can enable the alert feature and receive notifications once the card is used. They can set alerts based on the transaction types, whether it is international or online, and they can freeze the card if it is misplaced or unfreeze it once it is found. And this is all from your phone. To get this amazing offer, it's pretty easy. All persons need is to take the 3-month statements, the last 3-month statements of the card, the balance that you're transferring, and you take in your proof of address. We need your proof of income, which is a salary letter and pay slip. You also need to take in the 3 months bank statements. Persons can go on our website at www.cibcfcib.com, or they may call us at 1-866-743-2257, or they can visit any of the CIBC First Caribbean branches island-wide.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives, and if we're not doing that, might as well we back down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
And welcome back to Business Access TV's coverage of Wealth Magazine's Corporate Mingle SME Mini Expo 2018. I'm your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and please stay tuned for more highlights.
So Business Access TV's role here this evening, we are the media partners for Wealth Magazine Corporate Mingle. So we are at all the corporate mingles, we are capturing all the activities, and we're ensuring that it's packaged and it's aired multiple times on the station. So for those who were unable to make it here for the actual event, they can catch it another day. So based on the nature of Corporate Mingle, it's a networking event, and Business Access TV gets the opportunity to interact intimately with various businesses right across the industries. So we get the opportunity to get some brand exposure. We are no longer just in Jamaica. We are right across the Caribbean territories in 13 islands on the Flow network, and in Jamaica we're on all major cable service providers. We have grown and we continue to grow as the years go by.
We're bringing a wide range of energy-saving items. We're all about energy conservation, and we're trying to spread the message to Jamaicans that they can use a little less by purchasing energy-saving devices to ultimately save them some money in the long term. JPS has been committed over the last couple of years to productivity and driving growth of the Jamaican economy. And one of the areas that we see where there's a lot of waste is in energy. The energy usage, whether in business or residential customers. So for business customers, we're pushing energy solutions, which is renewable systems, which are a grid-tied system that allows them to stay on the grid, but benefit from the use of the sun. And for our residential customers, is a wide range of energy-saving devices that also allow them to enjoy the things that they like, but to use energy responsibly. And ultimately, that money can be used now for other things that goes into education, recreation, and generally building out their lives how they would want to live it. We've always seen corporate mingles as an opportunity to talk one-on-one, especially with small and micro enterprises. And we will continue to support corporate mingle because we can see it as only beneficial for this country.
What is your main purpose for attending Corporate Mingle?
Certainly the networking. CME has produced, because you've been to other networking events before, but I think I like the method that they use in terms of how they get the people involved, just the whole layout, and just the type of businesses that they get into the space. You have a multiplicity of different types of like, for instance, for this different MSME sector, which I think is a good broad-based one. And based on what I do as well, it's useful for me to come out and know what is happening with micro businesses or medium-sized businesses. So for me, the key takeaway is the exposure to what is happening in the sector, learning about some of the key players, and building or certainly meeting new persons that you can interact with to help and advance some of what you're doing. So I think that is very, very important. Always being able to keep abreast of what is happening in the sector, who are the players in the sector, how can I interact and benefit, and how can I give in terms of what I am doing to support what is happening in the sector.
Well, JNSBL firstly is the #1 microfinancing entity in Jamaica. We have been around for 21 years, and our function basically is servicing the MSC sector, persons in microfinancing, that kind of thing, persons who are on a small scale business. That's what we do. And we offer several suites of loans. Basically every year we keep on coming up with different kinds of loans to suit each and every unique person or unique business within our corporate or small business sector. And so as it is now, we have our TEF loan, where we basically partner with the Tourism Enhancement Fund, which is a government entity that offers assistance to not just corporate entities, but also to other persons who are trying to do business within the tourism sector. So as it is, we have one of our 5% loans. It's quite awesome, awesome for persons within the tourism sector. So if you're in craft, if you're in transportation, if it is that you are trying to add or to start from scratch building a villa of sorts, we offer up to 25 million for that as well. And so as I said, we partner with the Tourism Enhancement Fund, so it comes at 5%, which is ridiculously low.
Management Accounting Services. Keeping track of business performance is the key to driving future business performance. Having sound, up-to-date, and regular financial reports will ensure you are making well-informed business decisions in relation to matters such as capital expenditure, cost reductions, where future sales growth needs monitoring or driving, under or well-performing staff, or when is the right time to take on new staff. Dodge & Global can help you to prepare interim financial reports and therefore better advise you as to your future tax payments to prevent any surprises at year-end and to smooth out your tax obligations, saving you money. We will have discussions with you regarding the results of these reports and make sure you are aware of any pitfalls or areas that need your attention on a more regular basis. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global, website https://dodgen.global.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
So Bumblebee Digital Agency, that's it, we're a digital agency. Very new to Jamaica. We started in July. We're the only ones who really offering Wi-Fi advertising on the JUTC buses, Juta, and Tropical Tours. This is really offered in 15-minute sessions, so it's free Wi-Fi to the commuters, and the advertising space is available before. So when the user goes on to the JUTC bus and they access the Wi-Fi by Growth Tech, they receive a splash page that just says Wi-Fi is here, and they complete a form that asks for their age, gender, and email address, maybe telephone number. After they complete that form, they see a 30-second ad. When the 30-second ad finishes, they experience 15 minutes of free Wi-Fi session uninterrupted. Other than Wi-Fi advertising, we also offer social media management as well as other forms of digital advertising. So we're really full service. So once you want to do something extremely creative with your brand, then Bumblebee is here to bring the buzz everywhere.
One of the good things about attending Corporate Mingle is that you get to meet persons who are not normally privy to the Nissan brand, and they tend to not want to come downtown. So it's a way of bringing downtown and Nissan up to this section.
What was your expectation of the evening, and was your expectation met, or were your expectations met?
Yes, handed out a few business cards, met a couple of persons, and looking at some of the booth as well. I actually purchased something, so I'm hoping to get a sale as well. So that's one of the good things about coming to the Corporate Mingle, because you get to meet people and hope to capitalize on persons buying a vehicle. Because even though we only have one vehicle at the expo now, we actually carry a wide range of other vehicles. Come on down to Fidelity Motors, the home of Nissan. We have all 2019 models available. The Nissan X-Trail, we have that in 2 packages. We have our pickup, which is the Nissan Frontier. For commercial persons, we have the 16-seater buses. We have those in automatic as well as a manual transmission. And those are mostly for our Juta customers, so they can come on down to Fidelity Motors.
We have Keyman Insurance, that if you have like a business and stuff like that, you can do insurance for your partner, stuff like that. We also have critical illness, because that's a problem right now in Jamaica, right? So we have a lot of 2 products that we actually do critical illness on. Since December, we have actually launched our individual health insurance. A lot of persons were actually asking for that, so we launched that December gone. So we're in the business of doing individual health insurance. Once we used to do group, now we're doing individual. So as an individual person, you can actually come in and sign up and get your card and stuff like that.
Let me add to that. We have plans that fit the needs of all persons, because we have plans that for persons, we have medical plans and we have non-medical plans, right? And for instance, you can't pass a medical. We have a plan that can facilitate that purpose. You have persons who have pre-existing condition, so we provide insurance that everybody can have an insurance policy, whether it's to prepare for your family or it's just for yourself. We have investment policies that you can benefit from, and our interest rate at Guardian is very attractive.
Why did Guardian Group decide to come on Exposé tonight?
Well, because to showcase our products for one, and to show the public how much we care for their needs, and we have a variety of products to offer to persons who would like to come and be a part of Guardian Life.
Firstly, I want to say thank you to CME for executing this wonderful event. I think it's an excellent platform for small to large businesses to come by and showcase all their products. Not to mention, it's just an excellent way to network and have a wonderful time on a Friday evening. So my name is Roxanne Wise-Shirley. I'm here at the Corporate Mingle event. I'm here representing the Guardsman Group. We're actually here to showcase our newest product, which is called the Lapo. The Lapo is actually a Bluetooth tracking device, which pretty much can track anything that you frequently lose or anything that you want to find very quickly. So I actually have it here. It's a small device that you can put on your car keys, your house keys, you can put it on your handbag, a laptop bag, your pet, your child, literally anything you can think of that you want to find. So it comes with an app, so you download the app is free, and this Lapo actually communicates with the app. So if you want to find something, all you have to do, go on the app on your phone, you can press the alert, and then this Lapo will start beeping. Not only will it beep to alert you as to where it is, but the app will actually show you exactly where the Lapo is or how close you are to the Lapo. Oh my gosh, everybody loves it. Firstly, there is no other device on the market like this. This is the first time that this is hitting Jamaica. So everyone is just amazed by it, because everybody's like, really? This thing can let me find my phone easily? It can let me find my car keys, you know? So everybody's very, very excited about it. And so we're very happy to get that response. So, I mean, everybody loves it. I mean, I love it. The entire corporate mingle seems to love it. And we've already gotten a lot of sales from it. So we're very excited.
What are the functions of the BSJ?
The Bureau of Standards Jamaica is a government agency, and at this point we are seeking to highlight the fact that we are a service organization helping to facilitate persons involved in industry. The first thing that we do, we help to set standards, and in addition to setting standards, we also offer training in a range of standards related areas, including HACCP, good manufacturing practices, labeling. We also provide testing and calibration services, certification through our national certification body of Jamaica. And the Bureau of Standards Jamaica is seeking to help industry understand the importance of the use of standards to excel in business here in Jamaica and to excel in business outside of Jamaica.
So how does participating in Corporate Mingle help to boost your brand?
Well, certainly the BSJ recognizes, as we have done a bit of rebranding in the last year and a half, and we are less a regulatory body, it's critical that we present to industry and the persons, key players in the industry, what are the services we offer. We are hoping that by being here, many of those persons who participate, who need to access services, will recognize that the BSJ provides testing, provides calibration, and offers training in a range of areas. It really can only help to advance our cause and to improve our bottom line.
Another Business Access TV coverage of the Wealth Magazine Corporate Mingle SME Mini Expo 2018. I've been your host, Amita Prasad, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that are coming with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UE who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
It's the time of year when we salute many of our men and women who have placed Jamaica on the path to becoming the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In November, we recognize our youth, persons who work in local government and community development, the civil service, and journalism. But today, we'll focus on just two groups, our farmers and our parents. Your Jamaica Magazine program continues with a public service announcement, followed by the news. Stay with us.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 4. Government is to receive $5 million to strengthen its financial capacity to respond effectively in the event of a natural disaster. On Friday, the Ministry of Finance signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, for the grant funding. Under the MOU, government and the USAID will collaborate to finalize a policy for the public financial management of natural disaster risk. It will also support Jamaica in some of its financial resilient products, including the National Disaster Fund, which was established in March this year. In addition, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the MOU will offset the cost to procure instruments that will fiscally protect the country in the event of a natural disaster.
And of course, the grant will support Jamaica as we seek to improve the governance of the funds that will be placed in our natural disaster fund.
USAID Assistant Administrator for Latin America and the Caribbean, John Barsa, says it will help to safeguard against losses during natural disasters.
Jamaica's exposure to natural disasters can put all of these accomplishments at risk. Be it from a hurricane, earthquake, or any other unplanned natural disaster. There's a fragility in terms of what we have here, and planning is essential.
Residents of St. Andrew now have access to a new Justice Center. It was constructed at a cost of approximately $20 million and opened last Friday. Funding was provided through an agreement between the government and the European Union. The center is equipped with offices for restorative justice and child diversion services.
We look forward to make you happy by the results that we hope to show, not only in the provision of better legal services, not only to ensure that justice is dispensed in a timely manner, and that all the people of Jamaica can access justice, but by the facilities that we're putting forward to make sure that the people of this country can not only access, but can have justice provided in attractive surroundings.
The minister was speaking on Friday at the opening of the Justice Center. This brings the total number of parish justice centers to 8. Meanwhile, St. Andrew will soon have another justice center. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck says demolition work has already started for the construction of the Justice Center in Stony Hill.
We hope that that can be opened within the next 2 years. But we needed to ensure that another Justice Center should be opened. And so when this one is opened, then it will be there.
The Stony Hill Justice Center will be built at a cost of $160 million. Work is also ongoing for the establishment of similar facilities in St. James, Spanish Town, Hanover, and Clarendon. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the tobacco control legislation will be laid in Parliament early next year. Dr. Tufton says Cabinet has already approved drafting instructions for the development of a comprehensive tobacco legislation. The ministry has been liaising with the Chief Parliamentary Council to have the latest draft of the bill settled and presented for tabling.
Their comprehensive tobacco control legislation is a priority, Mr. Speaker.
And this has been included as a part of an Inter-American Development Bank loan for the general strengthening of health systems in Jamaica. As such, the IDB has engaged a local legal drafting expert to support the ministry's efforts in fast-tracking the passage of the legislation.
The Office of the Prime Minister is awaiting the Attorney General's Chamber's comments on a draft bill to make it mandatory for the names of both parents to be on every Jamaican's birth certificate. The draft bill, entitled An Act to Amend the Registration of Births and Death Act, was sent to the Registrar General's Department in March. Since then, the agency has reviewed the bill and made the requisite comments. Based on those consultations, the draft bill was sent to the Attorney General's chambers for further review.
The bill is aiming to make it mandatory for A, the mother of a child born out of wedlock to disclose the identity of her child's father, and B, in circumstances where such a mother is unable to reveal the particulars of her child's father, provide a declaration to the registrar outlining the reasons for her inability to disclose his identity.
Dr. Tufton was speaking during last Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is appealing to parents and guardians to refrain from leaving minors home alone. His call comes amidst the death of 2 children in a fire in the community of Paradise, Norwood St. James, recently. Mr. Holness has reiterated the need for greater supervision and protection of children from this type of tragedy which can be prevented.
You can't light matches and candles in these houses. Get solar lamps. They last 8 hours fully charged, and you have 2 levels of brightness. And you can hang them in your house like a bulb. And they work and we give them away free.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the handover of keys to fire victims of 194 Bay Farm Road. That fire also resulted in the death of a 9-year-old boy.
I'm going to ask the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology to come into this constituency and distribute so that we don't have any more fires resulting in the death of children by virtue of either improper connection of electricity or open flames, such as candles and home sweet home lamps, which sometimes turn over.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Be an active participant in your child's life. Spend time with your child. No phones, no television, no distractions, just the 2 of you. Get to know your child through play. Why not go to the park and get on the monkey bars? Sharing a meal can also be a time of bonding. If your child's in school, be involved in school activities. Speak with your child's teacher, follow up on their progress in school and see how you can help. Assist them with homework. Attend parent-teacher meetings and support school fundraising events. Remember, your child's future is in your hands. Safeguard it.
So glad you are a child of mine.
Grow what we eat what we grow. That's government's mantra as it encourages self-reliance. The call hasn't fallen on deaf ears.
We normally clean this system on a daily basis by using a shovel to gather the feces across the slots. Some of the feces normally falls into the slot, and the rest that doesn't fall in, we have a 2-inch hole at the end of the slotted area where we push all of the feces into it. The pit system for the slotted system is normally built with a degree of slope. That is sloped to a vent area where it is released into the biodigester.
What if I told you there's an easier way to do this? Students from the Ebony Park Arts Academy in Maypen, Clarendon have designed a unique way, modern if I may say, of effectively cleaning your pig pen. A design which they had on display at the recently held Dembe Agricultural Show. Take a look.
This is a pig pen, but not just any pig pen. This is a hydraulic slotted pig pen. Normally, pig pens aren't made to just move up and down. They don't have any up and down movements. So with this pen now, we make it that it can use the hydraulic system and let it go up for better sanitization of the pen itself. So this pen is connected to a biodigester. This biodigester is a system where the waste / the effluent from this pig pen can be converted to a gas called methane, which can be used like a fuel in the home, or it can be used to help with the maintenance of this because it can use to power this system itself.
As said before, this is a hydraulic slotted pig pen, therefore after a while there will be a buildup of feces and excessive bacteria beneath the pen. Therefore the hydraulic system would come in place because this would allow us to clean beneath the pen effectively. Before we clean beneath the pen, we place a fiberglass beneath the pen to prevent the excessive feces and waste material from passing through because we don't want it to touch you while we are beneath the pen cleaning. So this is when the pen goes up, and it will allow you to clean beneath the pen effectively to reduce the amount of bacteria and have a safe and disease-free pen. Afterwards, after you have done cleaning, you place the pen back into its designated area and remove the fiberglass and sanitize it. And that's the pen.
Our course is general agriculture. In general agriculture, we do with the husbandry practice and the cleaning of pens and sanitation and so forth. But we have slotted pen down there. And we have noticed that, with the slotted pen now, after a period of time, you may have a accumulation of bacteria because of small pieces of feces here and there. And remember, the swine / the pig are some animals which they easily catch disease and are easily infected. So that is why and how we come up with this invention. We don't have lots of difficulty because our senior instructor, Sir Calvin, has supplied us with most of the resources needed. But the challenge that we faced was mainly making this component, making the up and down movement without the use of electricity. So we had to think about it thoroughly. We just buck up on some syringes. So what we did was, we noticed that when you connect two syringes with a tube, when you push one down, the other one will go up. So we think about it and say, mainly we can use this as the hydraulic component of it using water. Like a liquid, you can use any liquid, not a too thick liquid, a liquid which can flow freely and make the movement. So we have the tendency to connect the syringe to each corner, to 4 corners, and to these syringes we connect them on the framing. So when we have the tendency to push down the syringe, the pen will go up, and when we push up the syringe, the pen will go down. So that is our hydraulic component of the system.
Youth involvement in agriculture is top priority for the government. And with a system like this one, designed to integrate modern technology and agriculture, what more could you possibly ask for?
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
Another group has taken on the government's challenge of growing what we eat and eating what we grow. This time, it's in a bid to cut imports on a very popular vegetable.
In July 2017, the Caribbean Broilers Group launched Imagination Farms to produce homegrown products. Now, it's planting onions, Scotch bonnet pepper, sorrel, sweet corn, and West Indies Sea Island cotton on 400 acres of farmland in Hill Run, St. Catherine. Caribbean Brawlers reaped 12 acres of onions under its homegrown brand. This venture is responding to an appeal from government for ramped-up local production of onions.
The statistics are telling us that right now we import over 80% of the onion that we eat.
It is hoped that Imagination Farms' output will help to reduce imports by 10%. The company has plans to increase this to 50% over the next 5 years.
We have a targeted program where we are looking at import substitution and looking at export potential. So, for example, for onions, we want to be a part of the thrust to curtail the amount of imports coming to the country. We're importing about 4 million US, 9 million kgs, and we think that Imagination Farms regarding onions, and we want to be a part of that process in terms of stemming, arresting the importation, and we have started on a good one. Our yields have been good.
This project by CB is demonstrating that it can be done here, and it can be done at a competitive price, and it can be sold to the supermarkets and sold to the hotels at a reasonable price. And it's a fresh product that's coming straight out of the ground. They're going to plant another 60 acres. Onions, onions, onions.
The government is calling on more farmers to pick up the mantle and help curtail our onion imports. And support is an offer through the Agricultural Push Start program.
And this is one where anything coming through, rather, that is the inputs. The seed, the fertilizer, and the spray will be given to the farmers upfront. As long as you prepare the land, rather will have the seed, the fertilizer, and the spray to give you when you are ready to plant. That means that the only thing that you need to do is to provide the labor and to make sure that you take care of the crop.
For more information on the Agricultural Push Start program, call or visit your nearest Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA office. Imagine it, believe it. You can play your part in helping to lower Jamaica's high import costs.
Parents, your role as guardians and caregivers is an important one. We want to encourage you to continue being your children's best example of who they should aspire to be. We know it's no easy task, but take heart with this next feature.
Meet Alex Fraser. He's a 10-year-old student of Dunrobin Primary School in Kingston. He's just like most other boys his age. He loves to play football, hang out with his friends, and play computer games. The only major difference, he cannot walk like most other boys his age. Alex was born with spina bifida, a condition where a baby's neural tube fails to develop normally, causing damage to the spinal cord and bones of the spine. Alex's mother, Tamara Brown, has 3 other children, all of whom have no birth defects. But from Alex's birth, Tamara was determined that he would be given the same opportunities.
I want Alex to have a good education. No matter if anything happened to me tomorrow, I want him to have a good education. Can't complain, the children, the teachers, love him a lot.
It's fun having Alex around, even though sometimes it's like he's not even there. He's so quiet, he's so obedient, and he gets along well with his parents.
Parenting a child with disabilities like Alex's takes extra special loving care.
I have to make sure, go to school, eat, because Alex is a very sick child. Alex have high blood pressure, Him has a kidney problem. Them have to take antibiotic every day. Them have to take mineral oil every day.
It means Tamara has to be at school with Alex for the entire school day on many occasions, as there are times when he doesn't have an assigned special needs assistant.
We're always here for Alex's mom and for Alex. She has been a strong parent though, doesn't complain a lot, but we have been there in support, maybe for lunch or any advice that she would need. So she has been a great parent. Alex's mother, she never gives up. She really wants the best for her child, and she should be commended for actually fighting to get the best in life for Alex. And we're happy he's a part of us.
I would like to work with computer when I grow up.
Antonika Gunter-Gale, Director of the Early Stimulation Program in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, works closely with parents of children like Alex, especially in the early stages.
Parents, guardians, caregivers of children with disabilities face a number of issues. Financial, is one of them. When you take, for instance, sometimes a child with special needs go beyond the years of using diapers, they have to take soft food. So that means, the blending, the buying of certain food items, So there are a number of challenges. Medication, you think about appointments. The child needs to go to the hearing, specialist. The child needs to go to the audiology. The child needs to go to various appointments. And it does take cash, to care on the part of the parent for persons who don't understand that this is a child with special needs and the child, act up in the public, screaming, shouting, hyperactive, a child with autism, very antisocial, not getting on like his peers. These things can really cause much stress to the parents of children with disabilities.
But you might ask, how can a regular parent afford all these expenses? And are there any existing support programs for parents of children with disabilities?
There are a number of support through the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, under which this program falls, the Early Stimulation Program. A mother, guardian, who really cannot find the wherewithal to care, you have support in terms of intervention. You have financial assistance in terms of a rehabilitation grant that is offered through the ministry for parents or guardians of children with special needs. You have the Jamaica Council for persons with disabilities that also offer support and financial assistance for, starting up your own business, advice, and, that sort of a thing. So there are a number of areas. We have the PAT program that assists with adaptive aids, such as hearing aids, walkers, wheelchairs, medication.
For parents who, like Tamara Brown, are unable to maintain regular jobs as a result of having to be with their disabled children at home or school, the Early Stimulation Program guides them to numerous entrepreneurship opportunities.
We have parents, for example, a simple thing as making soaps, different soaps, putting together, soaps that is tested and passed, approved through the Bureau of Standards, selling soaps. So we have mothers doing phone cards. We have parents doing their little craft at home, rearing chickens at home, doing eggs, So there are a number of areas while taking care of the child at home, the parent could do.
For more information, you may contact the Early Stimulation Program at 95 Hanover Street, Kingston. Call them at 922-5585. Children with special needs need extra special parents.
Though fulfilling, parenting can sometimes be a frustrating endeavor. It may also be a mix of trial and error. But even through those periods, we as the chosen guides for our future leaders have to always be mindful of what we teach them. We have to be the positive and ever reassuring influence on them. And one sure way of doing that is choosing not to use corporal punishment when we discipline our young.
When we use violence in the disciplining of our children, what we are teaching them is that the only way to deal with stress, to make corrections, to change, is by the use of violence. And then we look on and marvel as to why our society is so violent and we have so many murders. When we as parents resort to the ultimate punishment and defend it, that good will come of it. No good will come of it.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is right. If Jamaica is to fulfill its promise of being the place of choice to live, work, raise families and do business, we have to be a positive influence on our children. We don't have to beat them to teach them. Instead, we should all strive to discipline with love, understanding, compassion, and most of all, patience. And that's our show. Keep the lines of communication flowing. Send us an email. Visit our website. Follow us on all the major social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our mobile app. You may also watch this station round about the same time tomorrow for another exciting show. Whichever you choose, we'll be here to share with you all the positive happenings on our beautiful island. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business. This is Solomon Sharp, CEO, Main Event Entertainment Group. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access. Use access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
The Mona School of Business and Management hosted its 4th business conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and Business Access TV was there to bring you the highlights. Stay tuned.
Welcome on behalf of the Mona School of Business and Management to our 4th biennial conference. We're here to discuss delivering on the promise of entrepreneurship, and it is critical at this juncture that Jamaica in particular and the rest of the Caribbean, having gone through all sorts of structural and fiscal and monetary adjustments, these are necessary but not sufficient. And entrepreneurship is clearly one of the ways in which we will capitalize on a more robust financial platform that we have. And today we'll be looking both at research and examples from the Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the global audience. In that context, I would like to welcome all our visitors and presenters who have come from the Caribbean, the USA, and Europe, and I'd like to thank you for attending. We look forward to having very interesting conversations over the 3 days, and as has been our custom, to have generated research and publications arising out of the conference to advance knowledge. Our goal is to provide a link between the academy and the business community in a more direct way than other faculties and departments at the university. I therefore welcome not just this interaction between the school and the wider community, but we hope to use it as a springboard to forge even better partnerships.
I've noticed that the title of the opening plenary is Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Growth, Unlocking the Potential in the Jamaican Economy. So I presume that within that is the message that entrepreneurship and innovation have something to do with growth. And it's a fair assumption. And that is perhaps why we are being told by the Economic Growth Council to unleash our entrepreneurial spirit. We are being told by the World Bank to become more innovative. We're told by various members of the political directorate to take more risks and invest in newer areas. So it would appear that there is a growing perception that there is, in fact, a link between entrepreneurship and growth. The private sector organization of Jamaica and the Jamaica Bankers Association are finally reaching out to small and medium-sized entrepreneurs to get them to formalize their operations. So all of this is good. I think there's an energy that is starting. Unfortunately, that has happened before, but there is an energy that's starting that we need to keep going. And we need to understand that, or figure out whether it is a magic bullet or it is the beginning of a new paradigm that must be adopted by all of us across the board in order for us to secure mature development as a nation, as a society. I think we need to take a look at the historical context of our country so that we understand not only where we are, or we got here, but we can try and use it to map where we're going. But before I do that, I just wanted to give a commercial plug for the efforts of the Jamaica Bankers Association and the member bankers for the initiative to allow access to finance and to encourage access to finance for the SMEs and the medium-sized businesses. It's important for us to understand that the current definition of an SME is a business entity having between 1 and 50 employees and an annual turnover of less than $150 million. So that is the spectrum of enterprises that we at the PSOJ and the JBA are trying to capture. And the aim is to bring greater awareness of this SME sector to the extremely numerous and detailed programs that the government's access to finance agenda has established since 2016. And also, we want to provide input and support for the adoption and the expansion of the access to finance program across most of the stakeholder sectors through a process of education, facilitation, and familiarization. So the project has two streams. It has the access to finance stream, and it has a reverse factoring program, which is being developed in conjunction with the DBJ to enable small businesses to better manage their receivables. Cash flow is extremely important to small businesses, and we need to assist them in their management of it and in their collection of their debt. So the hope of the program is to foster better relationships between the banks and the small businesses, to simplify the credit processes and to make them easier and more transparent for the small businesses. We want to train the MSMEs, which is the term, in formalizing, regularizing, and structuring their business processes and to allow them to unlock additional capital to allow for their business expansion.
So as we contemplate how we can deliver on this promise of entrepreneurship in the Caribbean region, in our own Jamaican nation, I invite us to consider those factors which may possibly be standing in the way of us unlocking and unleashing our entrepreneurial potential. As a region and as a nation, we have a reputation of being a creativity powerhouse. We pride ourselves in our ability to come up with creative, original new ideas, and we often proudly hail our national mantras such as Tanya Han and Make Fashion, which speaks to our creative national problem-solving abilities, which allow us to turn any obstacle into an inventive opportunity. Simply put, we are just naturally creative, imaginative, and innovative people. And throughout our history, as a region and as a nation, our creative outputs and our ideas have always garnered global attention. However, in spite of our creative prowess, we seem to have failed to translate our ideas into generating high growth, high worth, high impact entrepreneurial ventures. And so I ponder the question, why do we think that is? Why is it that as a nation and as a region, we have been a plethora of creators in our island, but a dearth of successful entrepreneurs? So to examine this question, I invite us to consider the distinctions between the definitions of creativity and entrepreneurship. Now, the Webster Dictionary defines creativity as the ability to make new things and think of new ideas that we do well. However, it defines entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur as one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risks of a business or an enterprise. I submit that this is the critical differentiator in this definition between who an entrepreneur is as opposed to who a creative is. In that an entrepreneur is somebody who has to and must take risks. This distinction between these two definitions is important because while we as Jamaicans are naturally creative people, we need to consider the question, are we naturally entrepreneurial? Are we naturally risk takers and risk makers, or are we risk averse? In the results of the indices from the Global Resilience Index, which ranks 130 countries around the world by the risk and resilience of their business environments, based on certain factors such as economic indicators, risk factors, and supply chain issues, Jamaica has consistently ranked in the bottom 30 of 130 nations in the study. This might suggest that our national distaste for risk is well-founded. However, if left unchecked, our risk aversion will continue to be our entrepreneurial Achilles heel. So why is it that as a region, we're such risk-averse people? Why do we shy away from risk? I believe it's in part because when we think about entrepreneurial risk, we tend to only focus on the downside versus the upside of risk. A close examination of the term risk suggests that it refers to the effect of uncertainty on meeting organizational outcomes. However, while the effect of uncertainty as an entrepreneurial venture can be both negative and positive, we often only focus on the potential negative effects of risk and uncertainty to the exclusion of the consideration of the positive potential opportunities which risk and uncertainty can also provide. In my opinion, an entrepreneur is someone who sees the future and then sets out to create it. However, creating the future means stepping out into the uncertain and the unknown, and stepping out onto the unknown is risky. Oftentimes, however, when risk-averse entrepreneurs think of the word risk, what comes to mind are only those potential dangers, threats, and negative consequences of undertaking a venture. What if I can't pay my bills? What if the competitor beats me to the market? What if I invest a huge sum of money in the business, but I can't attract enough customers to cover my costs? I submit that this is a flawed view of the concept of risk. To the contrary, as we seek to unlock and unleash our creative and entrepreneurial potential as a region and as a nation, we need to begin to acknowledge that risk and reward are two sides of the same entrepreneurial coin. Consequently, without an active emphasis on entrepreneurial risk-taking and risk-making, we will fail to see the rewards of generating high growth, high impact, high worth entrepreneurial ventures.
Just to give you a little background in terms of what the DBJ does. The DBJ, really, the focus as a development bank is to really improve the lives of all Jamaicans through development financing, capacity building, PPPs, and privatizations. DBJ's role in building the economy, in as much as Howard just mentioned that because of factors, the state has had a big influence on the economy. DBJ's role, the philosophy behind it, is really not to be competing with the private sector or to take the place of the private sector, but really to fill the gaps where they exist. And so over the many decades, DBJ has been involved in lending through the AFIs at affordable rates when interest rates were at sky-high levels, putting in place collateral guarantees for good projects that did not have sufficient collateral to access loans. Things like Ignite program, grants for innovation, which now coming up with a reverse factoring, there is capacity building of our entrepreneurs. And the work that I'm doing, which really was focused on access to finance, access to equity finance through the Jamaica Venture Capital Program. When we established the VC program, the whole point was that we originally thought about it as being access to finance, but pretty quickly recognized that it was wider than just money. We had to be building the ecosystem. Everybody had to be ready for a market. Any market has buyers, sellers, as well as the infrastructure. We had none of those in Jamaica, so we had to be building that infrastructure. So it was really a multifaceted program that was developed, training and capacity building. Our fund managers or investors had to be trained, or fund managers or entrepreneurs, our lawyers, accountants. So there was a lot of training. We also put in place the infrastructure to build for our first funds to be started, as well as there are a number of legal, regulatory, and tax issues which have to be addressed. And most importantly, the entrepreneurs, the deal flow has to be there. So in looking at building an ecosystem, we had to be cognizant of, as I mentioned, all the various things. Who are the players? How are they going to be exiting the stock exchange? I know Marlene is going to be talking about that shortly. And entrepreneurship, as well as what's happening with the SMEs and what is the support infrastructure. And we took a lot of lessons. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We took a lot of lessons from what happened in Latin America as they were building their private equity and venture capital ecosystems.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
So I just wanted to just tell you real quick about the IDB Lab, just to put in context where we sit and what we are doing and how we could unlock the potential for entrepreneurship and innovation in Jamaica, even further than we are doing now. I like the way we started the panel. So we started off looking at the research, because research and development is very integral in all that we have to do as SMEs and entrepreneurs and when we're taking on innovation. We looked at the risk approach to it, smart risk taking. We also looked at our history, where we're coming from, because culturally that's still going to be ingrained in us. And then we looked at the capacity building and all the different elements that's needed. So I want to take you through unlocking that potential that's there and first introducing you to IDB Lab. So IDB Lab is a part of the IDB Group. We serve over 650 million persons across the world. We are a part of a group with IDB Invest. IDB works with the government. IDB Invest works with private sector, and then IDB Lab works with different corporate entities, civil society, NGOs, towards solving developmental problems. I'll go back to what Mr. Mitchell had said about inclusiveness. That's what IDB is all about. We are innovation lab looking at inclusive solutions for Latin America and the Caribbean. We create market-driven solutions. So we look at what the market is doing, what the needs are, where the gaps are, and we work along with the private sector to create those solutions. We also look for what we call transformative impact. How do we create what we call 10x impact, greater impact than we have seen before in the projects that we're looking to do? And we're very focused on vulnerable society. This is the inclusiveness that Mr. Mitchell was talking about. Where does the poor and the disabled and those persons who don't have access to goods or services, how can we help to solve some of those problems, elevating those persons, improving their lives so that they can be contributing to the growth of the society? So I mentioned we work with private sector in creating these projects. They're the ones who are executing on the initiatives. But I'm going to start with this slide, which is the JSE Market Index. And it is an index taken from Bloomberg yesterday, which really shows that point to point from last year, this time to this year, the market index has gone up by 61.76%. And that is showing you really the power of what happens when businesses are financed and the value created at each stage. So you can see that the index speak about companies and the value that has gone from point of last year to now is an increase of 61.7%. Year to date, 27%. I'm going to share a little bit with you as to why this could happen. But let us talk about the stock exchange group. We are 50 years today, this year, and what we did, we set out to ensure that there was confidence in the market by forming the Jamaica Central Securities Depository in 1998. And in order to broaden the services of the financial sector, in 2008, we formed the trustee division. And this is in order for persons to have confidence in the market when we talk about funding. When we talk about access to equity capital, one of the main pillars is confidence in the market. So the idea of the stock exchange is that we can raise equity, and that is, having shareholders in your company but also debts can be raised on the market as well. And every once in a while, we do have some simple innovations that allow for markets to grow and for persons to get money and to grow their business. And so in 2009, we created the junior market, and which shows a collaboration between government and the private sector, which offers, because persons have asked what is offered to incentivize businesses to grow, to access capital. And we have the junior market where, with the government's collaboration, we have a 10-year corporate tax holiday. We also have the support of the depository, as I said before, and we are in 40 clients in 5 CARICOM states. So we are all over the Caribbean. What is our market performance? For the main market, we have 55 companies as at June, and 55 securities and 42 companies. For the junior market, because we have the junior market, as I said, as at June, we have 41 companies. So the companies have come to market and have grown, and representing 38 securities. And we do have a US dollar market also, and that is growing too. So we can see that people are considering as a credible option the stock market to raise capital. Why would you want to go public? Public, when you talk about going public, it's a serious situation. It is one of disclosing your business to all concerned. And many persons are reluctant to do that. But more and more, we are seeing, especially small and medium sized, understanding that it is not so bad. When you come to market, you get these various benefits, enhanced profitability and viability, and the more about this company is a larger pool of well-run, profitable and compliant, because compliance is important. And there is a wider pool of investors. When probably 5 or so years ago, you had less persons willing to invest in companies that come to market. So you would have probably 20, 30 investors in any what is called an IPO. Now we have thousands of companies, of investors that will invest in companies. So for those persons who are business people, don't be afraid. Persons will invest in you if you have a credible idea and a good plan. We have seen on the level of the macro level that employment has increased, and it is a sustainable economic growth because of that.
Stop for a second and think about an incentive where you get 100% relief on your corporate tax for 5 years and 50% after. And you have in excess of 2,000 companies registered at the company's office. And we only have 40 since we have opened the junior market. It speaks to a bigger issue. So I have 3 minutes and I just want to touch on 2 quick things. That bigger issue is that significantly more education needs to be given to owners of these companies. We spend too much time trying to hide revenues, etc., in so-called getting a lower tax rate, that you're impacting the value creation, the revenue expansion of your business. So we need to find a way to get to more of those entrepreneurs, to let them understand that the more you open up your company is the more you're going to make. Because the tax rate is a percentage of a whole. So if that whole keeps growing, you will always get more than what the government is going to get. I'll touch quickly on the fact that, Neighborhood does all these things. We take you from nowhere right up. We fund you with debt, we fund you with equity. The gains have been crazy. But I close by jumping into Audrey's space because I just want to make 2 fundamental points. I think sometimes we don't really focus on what really matters.
So the biggest issue with funding in the country is a matter of risk management. So for example, people always say, why is it easier for you to get a car loan than for you to get a, a capital item loan? And it's very, very simple. There's a secondary market for cars. So when you get a loan, the bank has to ensure its principal can be repaid in the event you don't make the payment. So they'll quickly lend you against a car, because if you default on a car, there are a billion people that are willing to buy the car on a second-hand basis. But that is the secret to true funding in this country. If every sector of the economy that you want to pump funding into, you can create a secondary market, that is where you'll start to get a lot of funding. Because with all due respect, all of you guys that want money, you don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose money. The facts say that 8 out of 10 of you are going to blow up the money. That's why it is so difficult. So in my mind, the solution is create an environment that if I will invest in all 10, but the 8 that blows up, give me an incentive. Because right now it's too lopsided. I lose everything when your company blows up, and the best, if I'm lucky, that I'm going to get from you is, Mr. Peart, you're a good guy. Sorry I lost all your money. But guess what? I have another idea. Can you give me some more money for that? It's not going to work. So I finally close by saying, to get these traditional investors to invest in you, you have to come up with a solution that mitigates the risk for them.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
Here representing my company and partnering with the Mona School of Business and Management. We at Foswich went public just a year and a half ago, and I'm here to tell you about the nuts and bolts, just a few things on the nuts and bolts aspect of going public. One of the fundamental things, a few fundamental things that we had to wrestle with is going public. What is the value proposition that we are bringing to the market? You know, the space that we are in is electrical lighting, and we made a footprint for us in the LED space, where that particular product, the LED product, consumes 20% of the energy that the rest of fluorescent and incandescent light systems would produce, would consume. And so we wanted Jamaica to be clear that are the we're going to be the ones to bring this value to each consumer. And so how do we bring that value to the consumer? When you walk into a store and you see an LED bulb or an LED fixture or something, being untrained, you do not know exactly the properties and how it works and so on. And so we decided, okay, we are going to have to develop a department where we give this information to you. So when you walk in, or when we call you, or when we visit you, we are going to teach you or tell you the features of using the LEDs and the benefits. And so that became a big part of the value that we brought to to the market. We had to therefore acquire or employ engineers, and we call them commercial or engineers that can disseminate information in a forum that people can understand. And so we will have small meetings like these. We call them, industrial mingles, whether it be in Montego Bay, in Mandeville, in Kingston, and we invite 50 to 80 people, and we start talking to them. And before long, they start spreading the news of the value of the product that we were offering. And so we were now defining our way in the market. And in doing that, it gave us the freedom to feel more comfortable later on to go public, because now we were bringing the value that the other competitors were not bringing to the market at the time. And so you have to decide what is it you're going to take to the market. We were not manufacturing any products at that time, or we were not manufacturing them in Jamaica, because we had connections in Far East that we visited and we worked with them to manufacture them, but they were not being manufactured in Jamaica. So we wanted to set ourselves apart from the competition. So one, understand what is it you're bringing to the market and what value you give them when they are to use your goods or services before you are thinking of going public. Is my another thing, and Marlene and Gary touched on it, transparency. It is my wife and I are very private people before last year. We're very private people. Nobody knew anything about us. It was so difficult for us to open all of our accounting to our senior accountant. We used to manage it. But once we decided after talking about it and thinking about it that we're going to be going public. I do not even have the code to go into my accounts department anymore, because put a system in place and you're not afraid of opening up your books or your business to the public. And so you have to decide that this is the way you want to go and that you're going to go in this way.
So I come to you to talk to you about transforming the world and improving with entrepreneurship, sustainability, and innovation. It's time to turn climate change challenges into growth opportunities. I want to start today by taking a journey with you. Just as I grew up as an only child in Kingston and migrated to the US in high school, think about your experiences and where in Jamaica you're from, where you lived, where you grew up, your family, and what those experiences were like, what you aspired to be, and what you were frustrated with. It is said that our upbringing and life experiences shape us, the way we look at the world and our perspective. I think about my upbringing, born in a family from the great and no longer forgotten parish of St. Thomas, and raised in a matriarchal household. I think about the days when my grandmother made soursop juice and mango juice every time I visited her. I think about those frigid cold showers and the smell of kerosene lamps, and during intermittent power outages. and buckets of water because of the water shut off. And the other things like how I still boil water to this day, no matter where in the world I'm from. I see potential innovation in the challenges in our day to day life. Sometimes we're missing ideas and solutions from what is right in front of us. Sometimes we accept what has been occurring as commonplace, but I encourage every one of you to disrupt this status quo. Use those challenges as opportunities for innovation. Steve Jobs said, if you're going to make connections which are innovative, you have to have not the same bag of experiences as everyone else. You're going to have to make connections, and then you won't be innovative. When you think of the most successful tech companies being created today, is either from Silicon Valley, Israel, Europe, or Asia. However, right here in Jamaica, we have exported our own brand of innovation in music, food, dance, etc., and even the pushback. It is our family experiences, the history of migration, our culture and diversity of our people that makes us special and unique. They are the ingredients for a new crop of innovations that can be utilized to address climate change challenges. I believe that sustainability and climate change is the business and economic opportunity of the century. The world is under a climate emergency. If we don't, in the next 10 years, if we don't reduce the temperature by 1.5 degrees, we will be in a serious catastrophe. According to the UN, limiting global warming means that 420 million fewer people being exposed to severe heat waves, survival of tropical reefs, loss of fewer plants and animal species, and the protection of forests and wetland habitats. Climate change affects every industry, but most notably health, agriculture, water, and food, water and energy. Because of the increased acceptance and the urgency, there has been a rapid increase of funding, governmental projects, and new startup innovations. The capital markets have also taken notice and are integrating environmental consideration, social impact, and governance into business and investment decisions. They are reallocating trillions of dollars to address this challenge. This is an enabling environment that presents an opportunity to create new products, new services, and solutions that will help and mitigate, adapt and mitigate the effects of climate change for everyone. Furthermore, because of the islands, because the islands in general are disproportionately affected, in some cases it gives us first mover advantage to innovate and create solutions in a small environment before scaling internationally. The time to innovate and take advantage of new business and social impact opportunity is now. We are currently feeling the effects of climate change. Last month, as many of you know, in Kingston, there was record temperatures. Kingston was not alone. In Alaska, the record temperature reached 32 degrees. In southern France, the record temperature reached 45.5 degrees Celsius. And it's just going to get hotter from here. As higher temperatures become more common, the demand for cooling and devices will rise, driving the need for green innovation in the sector. Air conditioning is a twofold problem. It requires the use of more energy and uses chemicals that are harmful to global warming. There are hotter days coming, and there is both a need for new solutions and technologies that can keep us cool, but also reduce the effects of climate change.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
So today I will be speaking about Airbnb, which is very topical. The emergence of Airbnb in Jamaica and some of the debates and concerns that we have. I'm going to be pointing to what I consider to be a research gap and some questions, a very brief literature review, tell you a little bit about my methodology, what I found out, and some preliminary conclusions. I want to say that this is part of a larger body of work, and it's very much still in progress. So two things, forgive me if everything isn't there, and secondly, I really welcome your comments, which will help me to, I can utilize them as I go forward. All right, so these are some of the headlines that we see, that we have seen over time. I just went to our local newspapers, and you can see there's quite a debate happening, and this happens everywhere Airbnb goes. Very few people are neutral. They either love it or they hate it. So most recently, in the last week, we have had the issue of taxation come up, and the whole issue about how much are people earning from Airbnb currently. The last comment that really caught my attention was from the JHTA, Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association. And they're saying, tax because we need a level playing field. And what is in quotation there, you can read for yourself. But in essence, the JHTA's position is that, look, these people are legitimate competitors to us, and we don't see why, if they are competing in our space, they shouldn't have to have the same, my words, burden that we have. So, what I have been noticing in this debate, there's a lot of talk, as I showed with the headlines, about Airbnb and home sharing. Airbnb, of course, is just one of the many companies, but it's a name that everybody knows. So, and it's what I'm actually focusing my work on. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know. For example, are they really unfair threats? Are they tapping into the same market as the hotels? Or are they just little people trying to make some extra cash? JHTA doesn't think so, that they're little people, but how much do we really know? Do they offer similar products? And in essence, it comes down to one question: what exactly are they doing? So I have some research questions that I will show you again in a little bit. But in essence, what I'm trying to understand is from the perspective of the host. So rather than going macro, I'm actually going to go micro, because hosts are the ones who make or break an Airbnb product. So that's what I will be looking at. So as I said, I'll mention these research questions in a little bit. But to just talk about the host, who is the host? Well, one definition says a good host makes his guests happy while they're in his care. So that's in essence what a host would be required to do. But in addition to that, a host has a legal and moral obligations. So if some of us have studied hospitality law, we know that coming back from common law, innkeeper's liability, and so on, you have the obligation to ensure that your guests are kept safe and healthy. But in addition to that, there's this moral code from many religions and traditions, meaning that you have to take the person in. In addition to that, in Jamaica, we have very strict legislation. And for a homestay, which currently Airbnb would fall under, there are 11 standards established by TPD, Tourism Product and Development Company, that have to be met, and they're currently looking at new legislation. They say, but currently this is where it would fall, and hosts should also receive Team Jamaica training. B&B hosts, bed and breakfast hosts are often lifestyle entrepreneurs, and that's a nice way of saying they don't necessarily do it for the money. There's a lot of romance and mystery associated with the concept of bed and breakfast. And the interesting thing with Airbnb is, it sounds like breakfast, bed and breakfast, and they're built on that notion, although they technically, most they don't have to serve breakfast, and very few actually do. But remember that many of them are lifestyle entrepreneurs. And the services that they're expected to provide, they're very intimate, customer service oriented, personalized, and so on, because in many cases, you're coming into the home of the host. Airbnb now, what they say is almost anyone can be a host. That's what, if you go to their website, they will say that. But what you may not understand when you're following up on that, oh, I'm sorry, and they also say that there are 3 steps: list the space, decide how to host, and welcome the first guest. And that sounds really simple as one, two, three. But in reality, each of those steps assumes a whole body of knowledge which everybody may not have. You have to understand how to market. You have to understand how to do your pricing according to the season, according to supply and demand, and so on. And of course, how to manage the property and to interact with guests.
This afternoon, I'm going to be presenting on Airbnb and delivering the promise of Airbnb, the promise of entrepreneurship to Jamaica. And as my colleague mentioned, Dr. Craig, about the whole issue of Airbnb, it's a very controversial topic now. To tax or not to tax, those are the issues. But today for my presentation, I'm going to be providing and sharing some data with you about Airbnb's performance in Jamaica in particular. And please note that this is a part of a larger body of study. I'm actually studying Airbnbs not only in Jamaica, but also in Cuba and Cayman Islands and Bahamas. So the sample that you see me extrapolate data from is a part of a wider body of knowledge that is also currently ongoing and in process. So as you can see, it's the whole business of home sharing. So the idea is not lost upon us. And another thing that we want to drive home is that the whole notion of Airbnb is really not new to the Jamaican tourism industry, Caribbean tourism industry by extension. We've always opened our homes to guests. It's just the way in which we're doing it is different. And technology has created a platform that allows for greater access to persons who are also seeking this kind of intimate relationship and more authentic experiences. So we're going to get into, again, some of the controversy I also took from the headlines because it's so topical. And as you can see, there's so many issues coming out, how many guests we're actually welcoming, where they're going, who are they staying with, to tax or not to tax. That's also a big question that is trying to be answered now. So it's very topical. But again, just to frame and contextualize it, the Airbnb is a part of the wider sharing economy. And I love that term, as you mentioned, the Uberification, is it? Yes, fantastic. Because really that's what it is. It stems from these radical innovations that allow people to make extra money. That's really what it is. So I looked at the literature again from sources and what persons are saying about the sharing economy, which we're now a part of. And that is why everybody's trying to get their slice of the pie. So Botsman in particular had mentioned that it's very hard for us to define in totality what the sharing economy is. However, Ryan and Botsman in 2017 and 15 respectively looked at it from calling it a collaborative economy, the on-demand services economy, the gig economy, the freelance economy. So if you hear any of these terms, they're all used interchangeably. And basically it refers to the sharing activity of underutilized assets with the help of IT-based technology. So it's nothing new. It's just again the platform in which we're presenting it is a little different. So the main drivers towards this economy, how did it emerge and why are we here and why is it so important to us? The main drivers is basically consumer behavior. We're switching now from ownership to access. Now, I'm a part of a very unique group of consumers and producers called the millennials, and there are a few in this room. And we're kind of changing and shaping the way in which we consume things. So we're looking more, less to ownership rather, and more to access. And that is what is causing all these radical innovations to take place right across our landscape, and in particular in tourism. Now, the biggest success factors of the sharing economy is online reputation. And my colleague again, Anne Crick, also mentioned, the feedback system and rankings in terms of host and super host and all of that. Very important for us to look at. So these are some of the brands that come about under the sharing economy: Uber, Airbnb, Homestay, Lyft, WeWork, all of these, Craigslist, Couchsurfing, all of them are part of the sharing economy. So peer-to-peer accommodation, this is where people provide accommodation directly to consumers using a digital platform. And these are temporary stays in the homes. Airbnb in particular for P2P accommodation, most people call it Airbnb, but there are also other platforms that are very much relevant to us and is affecting the Jamaican tourism accommodation landscape: TripAdvisor, HomeAway, and also Booking.com. Now, just to share some data with you, globally, peer-to-peer accommodations, they're 7% of total accommodation around the world, 8 million beds. It's estimated that the number of transactions that took place was actually 75 billion US in 2017. And the trends and findings, again, the millennials are the ones who are driving this form of innovation. And also, it is not limited to budget travelers. It's not just about cheap travel, but efficient travel as well. And it was initially for the leisure market, but we find from my studies that the business traveler is also another trending market. So for entrepreneurs who are trying to get into Airbnb, an aspect that you could look at in terms of growth is catering to the needs of the business traveler. So Jamaica, what is happening with Jamaica, and what does it mean for us going forward? Jamaica was chosen as one of the countries for a pilot study by the World Bank in 2018. So they came to the Ministry of Tourism and they wanted to study peer-to-peer accommodations in the Caribbean, and Jamaica was the country chosen. But why is the World Bank interested in peer-to-peer accommodation? It is said that it can help to eliminate poverty, boost shared prosperity, and also its contributions for income generation for a broader group of people, in particular women, which I'll be looking at tomorrow. So in Jamaica, just to put things into perspective, there is over 5,000 active listings on Airbnb in Jamaica, 7,600 in total. So that's a recent statistics that's coming from Airbnb. So we have 7,600 hosts, 5,000 active, which means they're actually getting bookings and doing well. TripAdvisor Rentals also has 2,300 listings. HomeAway has 950 listings, and Booking.com has 1,124. So it's not just Airbnb, but it's just that Airbnb is one of the platforms that has seen the most growth throughout the years.
Thanks for staying with us for coverage of the Mona School of Business and Management's 4th Business Conference. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment, and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Hi, my name is Soretsi Small, and I'm the team leader of Avant Academy of Music. I've always wanted to have a music school. I had this idea when I was about 11 years old about a performing arts school in the hills, where people can just come and do anything. It was more of a fantasy, a dream, because my mom is a theater person and my dad's a lecturer, and I grew up in the 70s in that massive time of cultural work and drumming and poetry and, Rex Netterford, NDTC, and we were going to change the world. In 2013, a friend of mine said, I like you, Seretsi. I like your ideas. I like how you talk. I like how you think. And he said he would support me with an idea. So I said to him, let's start a school. Let's build a college one day. But let's start small. 4 instruments, piano, guitar, voice, and drums, which is what I understand. And let's take it from there. And let's build a school that has 2 pillars. One is situation analysis, understanding people's needs and meeting them, and global standards. We're going to make something that's of international quality. And he said, yes, let's do it. He started in Cannonball Cafe, really, because I would sit there and my 2 assistants, and we'd go on the internet, Facebook and so on, and just get the word out. Well, what we offer here at Avant Academy of Music is one-on-one personalized lessons. The idea is, let us know what you want to achieve. What is it that you want to learn to do? And we will find a way to get you to learn that. So we don't call our teachers music teachers. We call our teachers mentors, because we guide you to the fulfillment of your personal dream. And recently we've started to expand into group lessons, which is fairly recent. We now offer early childhood program for small children, ages 3 to 5, where we do general music, singing, dancing, learning some terms, understanding musical concepts, like a rhythm, playing a conga drum, learning the notes of the piano, that kind of thing. We cater to a wide range of needs. We're not quite meeting everybody's needs yet. For example, at the moment, we don't teach wind instruments. So if you want to learn to play the trumpet and the flute and those kinds of things, not yet. We need to physically expand a bit more. But all ages and stages, yes, we do. How we got capital to start was through a friend. His name is John Habel. He's a professor of educational psychology in the state. He came down for Calabash every year, and he teaches in Jamaica. I used to perform at Calabash, and I met him there, and we became friends over many, many years. In 2013, he said to me, Sergi, I like your ideas, I like what you're about. I have some small amount of money, I'm willing to help you. So he gave us the initial investment for it. Since then, we've had to do loans and various types of loans and different kinds of funding through our bank and various sources. Our first outlay of capital was used to set this place up. We had to do partitioning of the walls in order to create the soundproof and sound treated areas, which was going to be a hallmark of our learning environment. That there was private, but sound controlled. And of course, to install the air conditioning units, for comfort for our students. And then the initial big purchases, like digital piano, acoustic piano, and some basic computer equipment, that kind of thing, to set up the administration, phone lines, network, that kind of thing. Avant Academy of Music is not yet profitable, but we're growing. And at this moment, we're at 110 students, which for us is quite an achievement. And our goal is to get to 240 students. So somewhere around about 180 students, we're going to start seeing some profit. And we're also innovating the group programs that will give us an offering with a higher profit margin, which is also something that we're managing as we start to expand. So profitability is around the corner. This location is great because of the centrality of it and the, if you want to call it, the social comfort of the demographic. It's for a lot of our students are middle and upper class in order to afford our programs. And so in terms of the social demographic, it's right within, the kind of Campion, JC, Mona, Barbican. In terms of their movements, shopping and school and so on is perfect. But it's also accessible for other people in terms of Halfway Tree to Barbican Square. So it's a really good location for our demographic. Finding staff is a challenge because we're doing something that's quite innovative. And so it's very hard to find people with experience in running or operating, functioning in a music school of this sort. So we do a lot of training. So we did some early hires, and we did it based on qualifications and some sort of track record, but often it didn't quite work because we started to realize that we have a unique culture here. And so now I do much more of a longer interview process where I would interview the person and then I'll have my team interview the person so that we can have a sense of, can this person fit in our culture? Because it's not just about qualifications or ability, it's can you help us to do what we want to do, to achieve what we want to do the way that we like doing it. Our culture here at Atlanta Academy is very collaborative. We're small, and so we like to keep it nimble. We don't want to try and pretend to be a big school, with a lot of bureaucracy. It's a lot of one-on-one. It's a lot of WhatsApping. It's a lot of problem solving in teams. It's a little nerdy in terms of we like to talk about philosophy and ideas, and we are that kind of, because of that kind of team, because we're dealing with issues of music and culture. We have people who are religious who come to learn church music. We have people who are pop, and that's all. So that kind of ability to be flexible of mind is important. We open round about 9 o'clock, and my admin staff would come in. It's not a large admin staff, it's about 3 of us. And they start making calls and start receiving calls, checking on people who have indicated that they wanted lessons, arranging visits and tours, and then also making appointments with me to explain a concept or to guide a prospective client. Then my teachers start coming in, and they are doing one-on-one class. Not a lot of classes in the morning. We would get a few retirees, sometimes some professional musicians, some dancehall artists, or some aspiring artists who are recording, and so they would come in early in the morning, or self-employed persons. And then in around about 2:30, then the high school kids start coming in. Being an entrepreneur is really interesting for me because as a musician, I've always been kind of freelance and also project-based, moving from project to project all the time. But I must say that of all the things I've ever done, this school is the first time I feel like I am not only being an entrepreneur in terms of the business modeling and being more strategic, and actually focusing on business processes and what the needs of my customers are. But I am now starting to have that sense of separation from myself and the business, where I can actually start to see the business on its own, functioning without me, which is really interesting.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
The thing that makes Avant Academy of Music unique is that we are a small music school, but we operate almost like a college in our administration and our organization. In terms of generating new ideas, I find that listening to my clients is always key. Like, I try to assume that I am not the best client. My clients are not like me. My clients are not the kind of person who would practice for 12 hours a day and throw their life away for music. They're not that kind of person. We need to be very aware of what our clients' needs are. So I spend time talking to my parents, to my customers, and asking them what's important to them. And then out of that comes the ideas for meeting the needs. In building our customer base, we really focus on the simple idea of meeting needs and developing on that idea. Coming straight from the marketing, right? When you design a product offering and you have in your mind your target customer, which is also important, we have a document where we have profiled our target customer. And I keep reminding my team of who that customer is. You have to learn in your audition process to always be seeking the right customer, right? And to maintain the relationship with your customer through good processes, good customer service, effective programs. And if you're wrong, say you're wrong quickly and make recompense as fast as you can. Most of the challenges that we have faced have been centered on my own abilities as a leader. For example, hiring staff, making the right choices. Sometimes you see somebody, you think, oh, that'll be a good person, and you make that choice. And then you make the wrong choice, and then you have to let them go. And then you have months of a slot that's not functioning or absent. I went through a period where I had to let 2 people go. And I was holding everything together with 2 hands, like with duct tape, I think, like a lot of businesses, cash flow management is a biggie. Bookkeeping, that's been challenging because we so focused on teaching, so focused on doing what we want to do. Sometimes we let these things slide. Some of the failures that we've had have been with projections. Sometimes you project a financial performance and you don't put enough resources in place to meet that performance. You have this idea, oh, we're gonna achieve so and so and so and so, but you don't necessarily think in detail how that is gonna happen financially. And being a music educator, you get caught up in the music education and not the business, and that has caused us severe distress at times, especially in cash flow and paying bills. In terms of managing mistakes and damage control, I'm still learning. Risk management is something that we are getting used to. We have a strategic document, and we try to forecast what the possible risks are, and I try to speak about risk all the time. Like, don't tell me what can go right, tell me what can go wrong and what systems can we put into place for that. And we're still developing those skills. In terms of growth strategies, right now we're investing a lot in our people. I think that everything that we're going to be focused on, that we will be able to achieve, is going to be based on having the right leadership and the right people in place. So I spend quite a bit of time making sure my people are certified and that they're being trained. And we're investing in technology and in software, apps, and so on, so that we have the capacity for curriculum development. In terms of marketing the school, we use a lot of social media. Facebook for sure. Twitter, I'm still kind of getting used to, but I'm getting the hang of that. MailChimp, in terms of newsletters and email communication. And then in terms of hardcore advertising, we spent quite a bit of time in the newspapers, doing newspaper ads, especially on a Sunday, because we found that our target customer would read the Sunday paper. Sunday and Monday, because again, women, we tend to focus on. And then we also do TV ads. We're doing some really low budget TV ads in the classifieds, which has kind of worked for us. And as the school is growing now, we're actually trying to see if we can get more mainstream with TV. We've done some movies, like the cinema ads. And that kind of works for our summer program, because we have a summer program that when the kids are out doing movies, watching movies, we try to get in front of them. And then one of the most effective things that we do for marketing is direct marketing. Take a table, 2 chairs, go to an event, go to a school, go to an assembly with flyers and a sign-up sheet and give away free lessons. So like say, come and take a sample, and then we bring them in here and sell it to them. If they like the free lesson, then they sign up for more. And we also have gift certificates, which is also a kind of cool way, a part of our direct marketing. To succeed, I'm willing to do, well, some would say whatever it takes. I'm willing to do whatever it takes as long as it doesn't harm my people. Because I believe that Avant lives in our staff and our customers. Yeah, so I'm not willing to sacrifice them on the block of progress. However, I'm willing to do, anything from looking at the ownership structure, divesting that. If I have a partner who's going to come in and give us real value, then I'll be willing to negotiate, with the ownership of it for sure. Because as long as I can trust that they will maintain the culture and keep to the vision, and they bring real value, I'll be willing to do that. I'm willing to put in as many hours, and I've already sacrificed. My family has sacrificed a lot already, and so it's kind of hard to turn back now, after so much sacrifice. I don't know if there is a formula per se, but I do believe that there are some basic principles that one needs to apply. I think that the maxim that, they talk about marketing being, marketing is meeting needs profitably. And if you think about that, you have to be a person who connects with humanity in a very fundamental way. If you can understand fundamental needs and how to package a product or a service to meet that need, then you have a good start. I define success as achieving your personal potential, which means that success is not really possible if you don't know yourself. So success is walking the path that kind of makes you know yourself better and better every day. For me, it's helping people to come to their full potential through music education. The greatest fear I have for this business is that we will slip into merely being a music school trying to pay the bills, and that we will lose sight of the purpose, and that my staff will no longer be growing, and worse, that my staff will be suffering in some way. And so I try to manage that fear by maintaining a really strong set of advisors around me all the time, and putting my concerns out there and becoming better at measuring what is going on.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
I'm a child of the 70s, pretty much. And so my value system was based on notions of Afrocentricity and the value of our people, and that we were, like the Martin Luther King, kind of Malcolm X kind of background. And so I got convinced really early that our people needed to be lifted up. Now that has kind of been transformed into a concept of I need to leave the place better than I found it. When I die, I want people to say, him coming here left the place better. People are better. And that's what I want to leave behind. That's what drives me in the morning. I'm asking myself, am I leaving the place better? I've had so many persons affect me in significant ways. My daughter has been quite inspirational to me. From she was 5, she built out of a shoebox a building for the business that we were building. And she said, Daddy, this is what it's gonna look like. And that was her concept of what we were trying to achieve with music education and music. She, of course, the little girl, she had me in a big office at the top, and we had studios and whatever else. So she inspires me. She lives in the States, and she's very entrepreneurial, and she is a hustler, and there is that. Who else? I'm inspired by, in terms of thinkers, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the way he organized those marches, and he got funding for it, and he prepared it like a general in wartime, made change. Steve Jobs with Apple, persons who have come up with really disruptive technologies. I find them inspiring. My favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur is really meeting the needs. It's really thinking that I can see a need and find a solution for it. And of course, make it profitable. Our success at Avant is a couple of things. One, it's timing. I think that Jamaica is ready for it. I think that after all the years of music and Bob Marley and then Protégé and Chronics, there's a thirst for people. They feel like now is the time for a certain kind of modern approach to music education. So when we came and said we're doing this thing differently, people are ready for it. And then the people that I had working with me, my staff, they were just ready to be mentors and to come up with solutions. So when my students come, my clients come, and they get the Avant experience, it's my teachers that provide that experience. And they're the key. Well, I don't have a lot of hobbies, but I enjoy movies, going to the cinema, watch Netflix. I'm a big Netflix watcher. I also enjoy riding bicycle, hanging out with friends. I have a set of Caribbean friends where we drink some El Dorado and eat some roti and, talk old talk. Because, my parents are from Trinidad and Guyana, so, hanging out that way is kind of cool. And of course, just talking and listening to music. When I see my people grow, there's nothing that excites me more. Other day, one of my staff members was showing me how he had grown, literally how he, from in the last 2 years, the things he was able to do with software and how his life has improved, and the joy in his voice. And he was saying that really made me happy. And that change, transformation, and people being able to access that, that makes me really happy. I get excited, I get giddy for days. Well, our future plans for Avant is that we want to expand. We want to get a property and really kind of have a place where we can really flesh out some of the career building programs that we want to offer. And to do this, we're going to need to have an auditorium and much better facilities. And so we're really working on that. In the meantime, we're implementing a relationship with the London College of Music, where we'll be offering exams here in Jamaica that will certify persons in musical theater and pop music and so on, which will put us on the path to being able to give better certification to persons in different fields. And of course, expanding the scholarship program. I'm really excited about that because I want to offer $50 million worth of of scholarships over the next 3 years. There are 150 persons I want to get to all over the island, and really supercharge their dreams and transform their lives through music, So that's our plans coming up. But the advice I would give to somebody who wants to get into business is that I would say to you, focus on persons' needs. Focus on a problem that persons are having and find a unique way to solve it. Make the ways convenient, make it easy, and make it something that can give you a good margin. And then set your price and then spread the work. Talk about it as much as you can. Get like-minded people involved and believe, so that when you are converting your staff and your customers, they can feel the energy and the passion. But always make sure it's based on a real need and solve those needs and make a profit.
My name is Christella Harris. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
This week it's all about nurseries. I'm Janelle Pantrico, Creative Director at Spaces, and we're going to be talking about things to consider when decorating a nursery for the first time. So when we think about decorating the nursery, usually it's not a big room in the home that we find a lot of people paying a lot of attention to for decorating. It's only in recent times that we've realized that people are now exploring the options of actually decorating the nursery and being really creative with the space for the newborn baby. So one of the things that we find that people are doing is experimenting a lot more with the color scheme options for the nursery. Typically used to think and find only blue for boys, pink for girls, but now there are a lot of different color scheme options that we see our clients utilizing and asking for in their homes. So one of the common things you realize when you're picking a color scheme for a nursery is that you typically go with more pastel, neutral shades of one color. So you find that shades like coral, light pink, as opposed to using more intense colors like red or things like that. For mixing of colors, you find that there's more options out there apart from just using the primary colors that we've been traditionally using. And you find that once you're willing to experiment and open up to the new trends that are out there, you can really personalize the space for your baby. So another key component when decorating your nursery is deciding on what pieces you need in addition to the basic, which is the crib. Storage is of importance. You realize that the baby has tons of clothes and diapers and all sorts of other things that are going to need place. And in order to operate efficiently, we always suggest that you consider storage. So thinking of using probably like a dresser, like a 6-drawer, 9-drawer dresser that can also double as a changing tabletop if you buy the appropriate safety changing tops that can be attached to your dresser. Thinking of utilizing the closet space by going vertical, adding more shelving inside the room so you can put baskets that can store diapers, onesie, and all sorts of other things that you'll need for your newborn baby. And we also don't want to forget the mom while we're also outfitting the nursery. I mean, it's important to have a very comfortable seating spot for mom where she can do her nursing, whether you consider using a rocker, a recliner, or maybe an accent chair. An accent chair is also a great way to add some more personality, and it's another decorative element that can enhance the nursery space as well too. A great piece to add to the room, which adds some character as well, and is also for comfort purpose, is adding a poof or an ottoman. You can get a poof that's just decorative in nature that you can put your feet up and rest while you're doing your nursing, or an ottoman that also offers extra storage space as well. That can be used to store some of the baby's toys, etc. in there. So it's also a very useful piece in the room as well. So another consideration when purchasing pieces for the nursery is to look at how these pieces can transition with your child. So you're going from the infant stage to the toddler to your perhaps may even be in the same space to teenage years. So you want to invest in pieces that can transition with your child. There are a lot of options now available with cribs that can, if you buy the kits with them, that can be transitioned into safety beds, full-size beds as the child progresses. And two, you may not necessarily want to go with kid-size furniture, so if you can look outside of buying youth furniture as in like an appropriate dresser that can transition with the child, you may not necessarily want to buy a pink one. White would suffice, and that can transition with a girl or a boy as they go through the stages. And while safety and storage and all those elements are important while you're decorating your nursery, it's also a fun time for the parents to be as well. So I would suggest that they take their time, enjoy the process, and just look forward to the coming years and the time that they're going to spend with their child in that room. So right now I'm actually excited because in our next project we'll be working with Kalila Reynolds. So in another couple of weeks, she and her husband will be welcoming their baby, which is a girl. So we're excited to work with her on this project. I have some ideas already for this space, and she has some ideas too. So we're going to meet with her at our home and see how best we can collaborate and make sure that we have the most perfect room for her baby.
I like, well, like I said, like the mint green. So probably like maybe this color. Plus it's preservation, it says.
Right.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands.
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi again, it's Janelle from Spaces. So we're back. We're now at Kalila Reynolds' house. Just before the break, we were at the store discussing tips for decorating your nursery. Right now, we're getting ready to go inside for the first time. I have a little bit of concern because Kalila is about 34 weeks pregnant, and ideally, we would want to have the nursery ready by this time, just so that, you know, any scents from the paint and everything would have had time to evaporate and that the baby would be coming into an environment that's all ready. And two, you never know, at 34 weeks, the baby could decide to come early. So one of the concerns Kalila had when she met with us was that the space she has designated for the nursery is on the small side. We at Spaces actually specialize in small spaces, so while that may be a concern to her, there are a lot of ways that we can manipulate the space in order to get maximum utilization of the space. So we're going to take a look and see how best we can help her. Hi. Kalila.
Nice to meet you.
Same. So guys, we just took a look at Kalila's nursery. It's a small room, but it's not a big challenge for us at Spaces. It's definitely a workable space. We can put inside pretty much everything that Kalila has on her wish list. So we're just gonna delve in more and find out what exactly she wants in the space, and if she has already any inspiration that she's seen, so we can work with and try and see if we can get her exactly what she wants. So Kalila, have you been looking at any concepts or ideas for the nursery?
Well, the only thing I really have on my list that I want is the color scheme. I really like the combination of mint green and lavender.
Right.
And possibly gray can go in the mix too, as a trimming or some combination of those colors.
Okay, that's a wonderful color scheme. It's actually a very nice and soothing palette. You don't want to put any colors that are too bright or going to be too energetic in your room, because you do want to create a very relaxing and calming atmosphere for the baby. So what we can look at is ways of incorporating those colors. You know, you're gonna have your soft furnishings for the nursery, for the bedding. You have window treatment options, and of course the main focal point is the paint color that you'll ultimately choose for the walls. So let's take a look at this color palette here and see if we could probably pinpoint a color that jumps out at you. I usually recommend for my clients, because the The chips that you get from the paint store, the colors depending on the lighting in your room may not reflect ideally as what it is on the paper.
This I know.
You've had the experience.
The color of these walls right now is not what I thought.
I do suggest starting with a quart size, test it in the room so that you can see how the lighting will affect the space. So we can probably pick out 1 or 2 from here, and then we can narrow down, and then you could go ahead and get the quarts. We test it on the wall and see if we still like the color, and then we can work from there.
I like the mint green, so probably like maybe this color. What's it? Preservation, it says.
Right.
And
then
a lavender.
We're gonna try and find something that's in the same tone as it as well to complement it. So finding a color scheme is where we start off first, and as you hear, I mean, the inspiration can come from anything. You may have had a bedding that you liked already for the crib, and we can use that as a color palette, or we're working with the color scheme, and then now we can start choosing the bedding and the other things that are going to go into the space. Some of the things that we also need to consider is storage. Having a newborn baby, as you know, you're going to have like diapers, you know, all your onesies and everything. So I realized there's a cute little space that we could actually put some shelving and create a little cubby hole that will give you some extra storage inside the space. So what we want to do is to maximize on the small space that we have. So doing vertical floating shelves, probably can go ahead and put those in as well. If you have a dresser, that can double as storage as well as your changing table.
Right.
So that's another option that we consider. And then we can look at, you know, having a nice comfortable chair for you so that you have somewhere you'll be able to nurse the baby.
Another concern that we had is, you know, designing on a budget, because we don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on this. Kids grow stuff out so quickly too. We don't want it to be dated too quickly, that by the time she's 2, it's looking like a little baby's room, and she, you know,
Yeah, that's definitely a real concern. One of the things that we can do is probably do some DIY projects for the nursery. And it's a great way to personalize the space. I've looked around your home and I realized there's a couple paintings that you pointed out to me that you did yourself, and it would be a nice project if you could personalize some canvas pieces for the new nursery. So that's one way you can save on the budget. Another thing too is not necessarily using the colors on the wall, because again, paint is something that you may have that for a couple of years. So you could go with a more neutral color on the wall, say the gray that you mentioned that you also like as well. So that could be the base color for the wall, and then we could introduce the other colors in the window treatments, in the bedding, and those are things that you would have disposed of in a couple of months or so forth. So that's one way that you could save on the budget as well.
Yeah, that works.
Mix and match pieces, you don't have to get everything new. If someone has a crib that they can hand down, you can always refinish that.
Yeah, perfect. One of my friends is giving me a crib.
There you go, and that's a huge savings right there already. You may find a dresser around the home that you could probably repurpose, that you could have sanded down and painted in maybe a white or something like that your baby can grow with. So she could go from baby stage to toddler into her teenage years with a nice solid piece of furniture. Another great and fun way to personalize the nursery is with accessories. You could use stuffed toys, personalized artwork on the wall, nice inspirational quotations. These are things that you could do yourself. I mean, again, if you are on a budget, not everything necessarily has to be store-bought. And again, it's something that you may want to keep as a memento, as a keepsake for the child as they grow up. This is what mom did for you, and it would be a great way to keep memories of the process going through. Another nice accessory to add is we always forget the windows, so they double as preventing too much sun to come in so that the baby can sleep throughout the morning and so forth. But it's also another way of adding a nice other layer and element of decor into the space. So we can look at probably doing something like Roman shades in like a fun print as well. So there are a lot of options we can do. I mean, I'm gonna go back to the office now that I've seen the space and come up with a nice, great design concept for you.
Do you have any ideas for the floor? I was thinking maybe a rug.
Okay, sometimes a rug is a great option, but also too, depending on the baby, I mean, some children are born with allergies, so you may not necessarily want to have a rug that might cause any allergic reaction. Something that you could consider is probably like a play mat, which you could either get with like the alphabet and the numbers, which is something that with as they get older is something that becomes like a useful learning tool for them as well.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are fun.
Right.
And then I was looking at these two dressers.
Your dress?
Yeah. This one matches the crib, but this one is much cheaper. Price is another thing.
And they're these are dressers or Chester drawers?
Chester drawer.
But you wouldn't do the dresser?
What do you mean by dresser? The one with the mirror on it?
One. Well, you can buy it without the mirror, and then it could be the changing table like how they have this here. So this is actually a dresser, and they just put a changing pad on there, which you can strap down.
Oh.
Yeah. So we've seen the space, we've taken our measurements, and we've met with the mom-to-be. I'm excited to be working with Kalila, so I'm gonna head back to my office now to get started on our plan. We only have a couple of weeks, so I have to hurry and make sure I get things right. So see you guys back here in about 2 weeks' time.
It's very calming. I love this chair. It's like, oh, you just get to crack back and feed her and rock her and whatnot.
Are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
So this is the nursery. This is Nerice's room. She's now 2.5 months old, and I love it. It's actually one of my favorite rooms in the house. It's very calming. I love this chair. It's like, oh, you just get to crack back and feed her and rock her and whatnot. So she's going at it right now. The crib was a hand-me-down from a friend. It was her baby's crib, and now it's Nerice's crib. I love the color scheme, the purple, turquoise, and gray. Janelle really did a great job in designing the room from Spaces. The wallpaper was provided by them too. And some of the accessories we got online at Amazon.com. Daddy did a whole lot of work in here. As you can see, you saw the before images. He did all the painting, put up the wallpaper. Him and his dad put up the chair rail, the baseboards, as well as the shelves. And you can see her tiny little clothes, tiny little closet. Some toys and some books are up. And everybody really loves this space. We come in here, sometimes we come in here just to relax, because it's one of the cooler rooms in the house too. Because of the window, the breeze comes through this window to the back. The window treatment is awesome. This was done by the team at Spaces, so we're overall really happy with the room. The wall decorations were provided by Janelle too. She gave us those as a present from Spaces, and I think they look really, really nice in the room. They just add that extra touch, the little feminine touch. We have a nice walnut colored dresser too with some silver hardware that goes well with the room. And we just use that as the changing table. We bought a changing mat and put it on top. And that's where we change her. Fits all her clothes. There is space as well by the shelves for box of Pampers, box of wipes, go through those things, many a day. So it comes in very handy. It's a small space, but she's a small child, so it works out very well. The doll, the Cabbage Patch doll, was my older daughter's doll. She had it since she was her age. My older daughter is now 15, so that doll is now 15 years old. And the dress that she's wearing used to be her dress as well. So it was a dress for her as a baby. And now the doll wears it, and the doll has a new owner. So it's Nerese's now. She and the doll is same size. Overall, I just really enjoy this space. It's such a calm, relaxing area to come. I want to thank General Pantry from Spaces and her entire team as well for all the hard work that they put in so that we can have a room we truly, truly enjoy.
It's Season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canosol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan. Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions.